They told us the brain is everything. That it is the source. The engine. The origin of thought, emotion, awareness. A tangle of neurons. Chemical pulses. Electric signals across gray matter. And we believed it. Because the science seemed solid. Because it matched the instruments. Because we could see it glow under machines. But what if we were only watching the reflection? Not the fire, but the shadow it casts. What if the truth of consciousness does not live inside the brain, but passes through it? Chapter 1, The Neural Mirror. Imagine a mirror. It doesn't generate light. It only reflects it. Distorts it. Shapes it. Filters it. What if the brain works the same? What if consciousness is not produced in the skull, but channeled through it? Like a signal? Like a transmission? What we see as thoughts and feelings, what we measure as neural activity, may be just surface reactions. Just the visible side of something deeper. We call that mind. But maybe the mind is not local. Maybe it isn't yours. Not entirely. Chapter 2, Electromagnetic Ghosts. The brain operates through electricity. That's not a metaphor. It's literal. Electricity flows. It doesn't stop at bone. It radiates. It pulses into space. Every thought you have is a ripple, moving outward. Interacting. Blending. We assume it stops at the edge of the skin. But physics says otherwise. Electromagnetic fields don't need permission. They continue. Outward. Inward. Layered like echoes. And so perhaps, we are not isolated thinkers. We are receivers. Transceivers. Connected nodes in a wider grid. Chapter 3, The Universal Network. What if there is a central system? A root-level consciousness. A source field. A blueprint. Not religious. Not mythological. But structural. Physical. Measurable, if only we knew where to look. Some call it the Akashic field. Others, the quantum substrate. Physicists call it the zero-point field. Mystics call it the heart of God. Maybe it's all the same. A place where all information lives. Where time is flat. Where perception is not bound by flesh. And maybe, our brains are simply terminals. Running local instances of a greater intelligence. Chapter 4, Memory outside the skull. How do we explain shared thoughts? Sudden inspiration. Dreams that predict. Knowledge that arrives uninvited. How do we explain collective memory? Or déjà vu in places we've never been? There are experiments, ignored, ridiculed, that suggest memory may not be stored in the brain at all. That trauma can be inherited. That thought may be non-local. Even when parts of the brain are missing or damaged, some individuals still function. Still remember? Still feel? So, where does the mind really reside? Chapter 5, Is the self an illusion? We feel like individuals. Like islands. Encapsulated in our heads. But what if that's a trick of perception? What if the eye is a lens? A pinhole in a much larger field of view. A necessary constraint to play the game of time and space. Maybe we are not separate beings, but threads of the same fabric. Not disconnected entities, but localized expressions of a single intelligence, distributed across all matter. You aren't thinking alone. You never were? Chapter 6. The core of the universe. At the center of every galaxy lies a black hole. Silent. Invisible. Consuming. Creating. Some physicists believe the universe itself may be centered on something similar, a gravitational core, a point of infinite density, or infinite information. If the universe has a brain, if consciousness has a network, then perhaps it converges there. Not in the sky. Not in heaven. But in the core. And maybe our consciousness isn't separate from it, maybe it is generated by it. A projection. A stream. Filtered through the wet circuitry of biology. Chapter 7, the implication. If this is true, then everything changes. The brain is not the source. It is the interface. The self is not fixed. It is fluid. Death is not disconnection. Only deactivation of the local node. And life is not confined to the body. It is everywhere the signal reaches. Chapter 8, the choice. We stand on the edge of understanding. Between matter and mystery. Between science and experience. You can dismiss it all. Call it pseudoscience. Call it romanticism. Or you can question deeper. Look inward. Listen harder. You are more than neurons. You are more than cells. You are more than the stories you've been told. Maybe the brain is real. But it is not all. You are not inside the brain. You are using the brain to explore something much larger. Something unspeakable. Something eternal. Something already connected.